Hello, welcome to your snack sandwich. Today I'm going to take a quick look at X7 Finance. Now the reason why I'm looking at this is because I kind of got hammered on Twitter the other day. This guy here said, hey, take a look at XY Finance, Uniswap killer. And then I believe they are probably part of the project, or at least some shiller of that project. He's, said do it as well. And then there's some more. And then Dallas would do this. And as you can see, it all came at once and it came pretty strong. So I decided, hey, might as well take a look at it, right? So I opened up the website and there's no documentation. However, there is a white paper. So I went over to the white paper and I did read it in full, and there's still some questions in my mind. There's some things I don't quite know the answer to. The white paper did not cover everything, but the white paper is about 40 pages long, but there are some pages that are, partial pages and so forth. So I would say roughly about 30 pages. So I would suggest you to come and read the white paper. However, I did read it and I did produce a flowchart, and that's what I'm going to share with you today. And so let's go over to the flowchart and let's talk a little bit about what does this guy do? What does this project aim to do, and so forth, okay? So here we are on the flowchart, and we have dollar bill and Caesar, and then maybe boosted bill will come along in a little bit. Okay, so we have two actors right now, and how will they participate in this ecosystem? So the first thing we have here is we have dollar bill, who is rich and he has a lot of capital, and he just wants to earn an income on it by lending it. So he can lend his Ethereum into this pool of Ethereum and get back a share token. So they call them X7D. These X7D tokens will always be worth 1 ETH and be redeemable for 1 ETH. Now I do assume that this means there will be some utilization issues perhaps in the future if there's not a whole lot of depositors, but there are a lot of borrowers. So it's not always redeemable. It will be redeemable assuming that there is enough ETH in this pool for him to redeem his tokens for. There's not a lot of talk in the white paper about how this problem will be solved, but they do talk about the injection of their own the ecosystem's Ethereum in here to keep this healthy so he can always redeem. And you will see in the future, as I go through the flowchart here, how some of the places where Ethereum will be added to this pool from the ecosystem. So one of the things he can do with that X7D token is he can stake it. So it's a time lock into an NFT, and then he will stake that NFT into a contract in order to gain some yield from doing this. Otherwise, he will get nothing. He would just have a token that's worth 1 to 1 ETH, and there would be no reason to do it. So in order to get to get some yield on his ETH, he has to actually time lock his ETH inside here. Now, the time lock is not stated in the white paper how long that will be, so I can't tell you how long he has to time lock it for. So Caesar wants to launch a token project. He's got a project. He's got a whole bunch of Caesar tokens, but he doesn't really have too much ETH, right? So he wants to get some liquidity for his Caesar token, but he doesn't know how to do it. So that's what this project is trying to do, is trying to connect these people together so that Caesar can create LPs, right? And he won't need a substantial amount of ETH up front to create these LPs. So he will use his tokens and he will run them through the contracts, borrow the ETH from dollar bill and produce a healthy LP token. And then he'll have to pay an origination fee, which is 25 or 10% or 15%, depending on the kind of loan that he selects, okay? It can be a simple loan, amortizing, or interest-only loan, and it says here, see white paper. And the duration of these loans is 10 to 90 days currently, but they plan to turn it up when the project becomes more substantial. So let's swing over to the white paper and talk about a little bit about the differences between these three types of loans. Okay, so we have a simple loan, as you can see, 25% origination fee, so he has to pay 25% of what he borrows. There's no interest on it, okay, because he's paying 25%, right? Pretty much right there is the interest, right? 100% of the principal must be returned at the end of the term. So after like between that 90 days, he has to give back all of it. If he was some liquidation conditions here, and the liquidation reward 5% of the origination fee. So actually 20% is given, but 5% is set aside for liquidating. Okay, liquidating his position. So over to the next type is the amortizing loan with interest. So as you see, he pays 10%. However, he will have to pay a 6% at the end of each quarter. Okay, so they will take the time of the loan and divide it into 4s, and each time he has to pay back this amount. And if he doesn't pay it back, then he will be liquidated, right? 25% of the capital must be repaid each quarter, right? And 5% of the origination fee will be set aside for the liquidation bounty as well. So take some time, pause this, read this carefully. I'm not going to read it to you, okay? So, and then the last one is interest-only loan. So 15% origination fee, 6% borrowed capital payable at each quarter again, and then 100% of the principal must be given back. So like I said, take some time, pause the video, and read through those things if you really want to know. Let's swing back to the flowchart. Okay, so we've covered this, right? So he's going to give this ETH to this like octopus right here, this contract that they have inside here. It's divides up the cash pretty much. So what does this thing do with the cash? Well, it gives it to these consolation tokens. I don't really understand what these consolation tokens are, but basically they are the reward for the people who staked in here. But there is some talk about being able to buy these consolation tokens and stuff like that. So I don't really understand exactly how these consolation tokens work beyond this guy giving them to the people who have time locked their ETH deposit token, right? And then also some of it will be injected back into this pool to create more health inside here, more ETH inside here. So this origination fee, now the percentage change here, like how much here, how much there, I don't know. It doesn't say inside the white paper, and I assume this would be up to governance to change and so forth. So along comes Boosted Bill, and Boosted Bill says, oh, Caesar's token has a tradability, so he wants to take part in that, so he can trade against these LPs. So that's what this protocol does, okay, is it allows people to borrow, create LPs inside this system, and then users can come and trade those LPs, right? So it's all in one. It's borrowing and lending and LPs, like an AMM, all in one. So he can trade. Now the trading fee is 0.2 instead of 0.3 like Uniswap, so it's a little bit cheaper, right? So he will be happy with that, right? And then onwards, so now he has seen that Caesar has had some success, so he decides, hey, I want to do a Boosted Bill token. So he comes along and he tries to do the same thing, create a loan. However, there's not enough ETH in here anymore. So what happens is it mints an NFT for other people to see. So he can see that, oh, Boosted Bill, he wants an LP, he wants to borrow, he wants to he wants to borrow some of my ETH, right, to do his LP token thing, right? So then Boosted Dollar Bill can interact with this and pay and join this loan, right? Now, which kind of loan it will be, I'm not sure if he will select, or if he will select when he creates this NFT. It's like, hey, there's not enough ETH here. What kind of loan do you want? So I would assume that Boosted Bill would be the chooser of this. So I assume this NFT here would have one of these already chosen, and the date, the duration, and so forth of this loan. Okay. Moving on. Now, one of the things that's not quite clear is like when the time comes, right, there is going, and let's say Caesar is just pure degen and he doesn't pay back his loan, right? So it's time to liquidate him. Now, there's not a whole lot of talking here about impermanent loss and how they're going to mitigate this. Like if Caesar's token, let's say Caesar just gives away his token and then everybody just dumps on this pool, then the pool value will go down quite a bit. And there's not any talk inside the white paper about how this impermanent loss will be mitigated, like whether the value of this LP has to stay at a certain place or else they will get liquidated, or if it's purely based on time. It just says some things about like if you don't pay your stuff, you get liquidated. So this is a big question to me, and I hope that in future renditions or in the full docs, they will explain how this liquidation is protected, or this impermanent loss will be protected. Okay, moving on. So there's another token. It's called the X7R token, and they call it the reward token, but they don't really talk in the white paper like what this will reward. So I'm assuming it might be able to be incentivized on this Caesar LP here, or it's just going to incentivize its own LP here and other LPs that are in this system. So there's this reward token. And if he wants to speculate on this reward token, he can buy this reward token. And it comes with a trading fee of 6%. So it's like a transfer fee. You know, buy or sell this token, you pay 6%. Okay. Now, that 6% is used, 40% is used to buy, like basically, you know, rebuild the LP. So like some of that ETH from that 6% will be given, and, you know, 40% will be used to do this, you know, to auto compound and build protocol owned liquidity. 30% will be given to Mr. Octopus here, so he can, you know, give it to the lending pool here, and then 30% will be given to the treasury. Now, I would think that only the ETH would be go through these, because this thing only wants ETH, and this thing might want both. Like it could use both, and then the treasury, maybe the treasury will get. You know, this is a little bit of a question. You know, like he only wants ETH, right? They're not going to sell this token to give him ETH, right? So he's going to get 30% of the ETH, 40% of the ETH, 30% of the ETH, and then the trading fees of the R7 token, or the X7R token, I'm not sure where it'll go. Maybe it'll just all go to the treasury, and they will just use it to pump back into rewards somewhere. Okay, moving on. So there's another token. It's the X7 DAO token. Okay, and there will also be an LP of this, right? And this LP will also have a 6% trading fee, 25% to the treasury, 30% to Mr. Octopus, 25% will be used to add to this liquidity pool, and 20% to rebuild this auto compound, this LP. Okay, now what does this X7 DAO token do? It gives voting rights. Okay, so if you want to vote on some of this stuff, like the fee rates, so these trading fee rates, maybe this fee rate might be able to be changed. The loan terms, like maybe the dates or the times, or those things I showed you. Tradable tax token terms. Oh, so this is the tax token, funding terms, distribution of capital flow, like where does these lines up here, where they're going. So there's a governance token and a reward token. Okay, so you have to keep that in mind. The next part here, that's not it. Okay, there's also 4 special kinds of NFTs. Okay, now again, I see white paper. There's the Eco Maxi, the Liquidity Maxi, the Dex Maxi, and the Borrow Maxi. So let's swing over to the white paper and talk about these 4 types of NFTs. So here are the NFTs. As you can see, you can pause this and kind of read this carefully, but basically they give discounts on different things. Now this X7100 is a constellation token, so a fee discount on that. So maybe there's a huge trading fee on this token as well, and that will then. But it doesn't say anywhere in the white paper that I could find. Maybe I missed it, and anyhow, so there's all these different kinds of fee reductions depending on which one you would have, and which is good. I think it's good that they have these different kinds, because there are different users that want different kinds of discounts, right? And it also doesn't quite clearly say where this ETH will go, like the cost of this ETH. So I'm assuming that all this ETH will just kind of end up inside the octopus, or something like this. Okay, so this is another question I have that I'm not exactly sure. And the last one, there's another NFT. There are 49 Magisters, maybe it should be Magistrate, but anyhow, Magister NFTs that cost 50 ETH each. Okay, and they say the 50 ETH will be distributed to the ecosystem. So again, probably the octopus, and maybe used to buy some of these tokens and stuff like that. So there's Magister NFT. There's 49 of them. 7 were given to the team, and they will parallel vote for these kinds of proposals. So you can think of this as like maybe like the Senate and the House of Commons or something. So like there's 2, like both of them need to be met. Okay, so if the Magister says no, the token people say yes, then it's a no, right? If the opposite, then I would assume again it's a no, so both of them have to agree that this is good for the system. And I kind of like this, and I kind of think it's it's kind of overkill, but at the same time it's kind of good, because these people obviously care about the system. So 50 ETH to get in here, and then also the team probably cares about them as well. 50 ETH is no joke, right? To take part in this kind of stuff. So this is a big protection in my mind of how to deal with this. So this is how I understand it. Now, again, I read a white paper. The white paper is a reduced, kind of simplified version. The project, let's swing over. The project is not quite live yet, as far as I can tell. Oops. It's not quite live yet. Maybe there's some minting of limited NFTs and stuff like that. So you can come dig a little bit deeper, join their Discord, ask more questions, and find out more whether or not you think this is interesting. I do think there's some good ideas in here, and I really like the idea that it's all in one. Like you can lend to people who want to borrow to create liquidity pools, because it's hard. It's hard for a new project to come up with capital to create liquidity pools, okay? But there are quite a few questions still kind of hanging in the air in my mind, okay? Now, if I would have gone to the Discord and asked tons of questions, I'd be able to answer that. But I'm lazy and I don't want to have conversations. I don't want to wait for answers. I just want to read a paper, understand what the project does exactly, and then explain it to you guys. So that's it. I hope this has been useful and interesting, and thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.